My wife don't believe me. That's why she made me come here. And I don't think you're gonna believe me either. But it's the God's honest truth. And the money is mine. Hell, I wouldn't never steal. I know there's a lot of fellas in my fix that would, but not me. I always been honest, and I always got along okay. Excuse me, but are you taking this down just the way I'm telling it? Cause I can't talk so good. Ain't had much schooling, and I want this to look just like I'm telling it, cause it's gonna be hard enough to believe. Okay, thanks. Well, the whole thing started yesterday morning. I went out early because my wife was sick, and I wanted to try to get as much as I could done by myself in case there's gonna be a doctor bill, capiche? And it's a lot tougher going it alone. Kind of my wife, plays the banjo, and that's a big help. Well, the subway take on the way up from Brooklyn was pretty poor, so I got off at the Columbus Circle and headed for the park. I figured it being 4th of July holiday, there'd be a pretty good pickings over there. But hell, I never figured it was gonna be that good. I had a little trouble getting across 59th Street, you know, the one where they'd been doing all the digging, and I took a bad spill over there. My crutches slipped on the damn gravel that got spread all over the place. I don't usually have trouble navigating that way, but this morning, I was still kinda sleepy and I wasn't watching myself enough. Yeah, I went right over my ear. That's how I got the cut here. As if I ain't had enough trouble there. This real nice guy comes over and helps me up. He talked real funny, sorta with his teeth, like, I couldn't make out a thing he said. A foreigner, I figured. Then when we got to the club, he takes off like a bat out of hell into the park. That's when I noticed he was dressed kinda funny too. Like the creases on his pants was on the side, and his jacket was on backwards. And he didn't have no shoes on. Just some kind of floppy red socks with a lot of yellow tassels on them. Must be a character from the village, I figured. I seen a lot of queer ducks down there in my time. Anyway, then I forgot about him, cause I spotted a couple of young kids sitting on the stone bench near the gate, and they looked like a good touch. So I dust off my hat and gives them a try. But they were still looking pop-eyed towards the park where the funny character went, and didn't give me a trouble at all. So I moved along into the park, and to hell with them. There was only a couple of bums sleeping on the benches near the gate, and I went on up the grade and around the bend. It was slow going uphill, and my leg was hurting, but I finally got there. All the benches on both sides of the walk was empty. I thought, hell, I'm too early. But I kept on going, even though my shoulders was starting to hurt now. I didn't want to grab a rest till I took a couple of bucks at least. The ground level's off there, and it was easier going, so I tried to get up a little speed, remembering there was a place ahead where people always sit on the grass and get the sun. And all the way, the benches was empty, not a soul in sight, nowheres. I was kinda thinking maybe there was some kinda celebration going on, and I oughta been going up towards the mall. But I knew it was too early for anything like that, so I kept on going. And a damn good thing I did, cause when I reached that big field, you know where the road cuts off, there was a fair-sized crowd standing around there. They was all looking off towards the middle of the field, but I couldn't make out from where I was what was going on, cause I don't care nothing about them parades and stuff, so I just started making my routes. Well, it was the damnedest thing I ever done seen. All them people staring, shelling out soon as I came up to them without even looking at me. I thought I was gonna pass out right there, seeing all them greenbacks flipping into my hat. One guy threw in a wallet and all. Looking at all these crazy people, I seen they was all talking. And they looked like they was talking to themselves. Cause nobody turned a head, just kept staring all glassy-eyed, like they was doped up. The old guy that threw his whole wallet was saying something like, "This is the finest performance of Ska Lady I've ever heard. Positively brilliant." there was a skinny kid standing next to the old gent, and his lips was moving fast. Jeepers, he was saying real Dixieland. And his body was standing there, tapping his feet and yelling, "Hear that boogie beat, man, that's Albert Amos and Pete Johnson at their best." A little ways in, a fat guy standing on somebody's Panama hat says, "Chopin, I just love Chopin." His big flabby lips was slapping together hard. The big cheesy old lady with him had one of them wrinkled up mouths, and I couldn't hardly make out what she was saying, 'cause her lips didn't hardly move at all when she talked, but it was something like, "Jamba music, my dear, so lovely." Everybody's mouth was going. Everybody I looked at was saying something about music, and they all looked like they was having the time of their lives. And they kept right on shelling out as I moved along through them. Then I get to the edge of the crowd and I spot what they're all staring at. It's nobody but my old friend, Queer Pants, the nice guy that helped me on 59th Street when I took that spill. He's standing out there in the middle of the field with his back to the crowd, waving his arms around like crazy, looking just like he was leading a band. Queerest thing I ever done seen, 'cause there ain't nothing in front of him except in the trees and the grass. A couple of minutes later, he throws his hands down like he's stopping something, and then he turns around towards the crowd and bends over real low. And then the crowd goes nuts. Their mouths are open wide, screaming and yelling, and they're clapping their hands like they was at the circus or something. Queer Pants bends over a couple of times more, and he swings around again, sort of taps the air in front of him, stretches his arms up over his head for a second, and then he starts slinging them around again. Right away, everybody shuts the traps and goes to staring again. They all looks like they've been crying, but happy like. I'm standing there, trying to figure out how maybe it's some kind of gag, and there's maybe a band hiding back there in the trees or something like that. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I spots a cop coming towards me. I ducks back into the crowd real fast and starts stuffing all the dough into my pockets. Soon as the hat's empty, I takes a peek back through the crowd, and there's the blue coat rocking back on his heels with a big grin spread on his fat face. This I had to see. So I moves over real quiet like, and his mouth is going like 60. "It's the old Kalani," he's saying. "But Jesus, I've never heard the like. Me poor old midder should be here now. God bless the man." And all the time, the crowd's getting bigger and bigger, and cars stopping along the road. A couple people ride over on horses. 2 women with baby carriages push in, and a big guy with glasses carrying about 10 books drops them on the grass and starts clenching his fists. Now I see Queer Pants is taking a bow again, and everybody's beating their hands. All of a sudden, Queer Pants jumps around and takes off towards the woods, hopping across the grass like a rabbit and waving his arms around again as he goes. Lucky I'm on the outside, or I would have been trampled. It was like somebody yelled fire in a movie theater, and the whole mob beats it across the grass, knocking into each other. Everybody's trying to get ahead. I let him go and went back to the sidewalk. I know where the woods lets out. It leads right back into Central Park West. And it's the long way around. I can easily beat him by going up the sidewalk. And I do. I'm already waiting outside when Queer Pants comes hopping out with the whole mob running after him. Looks like they picked up lots more people on the way, 'cause now there's hundreds following him. I damn near chokes when Queer Pants jumps the red light, but traffic just stops dead for him, brakes, jamming up and down the street for about a mile. He's heading straight across town towards the river, it looks like, and I'm thinking, damn, this I gotta see, but I couldn't figure no way to catch up with him. Then I see the traffic on the other side of the street is starting to turn right in after the tail end of the mob, and the same thing starts on my side. Everybody's trying to go down that side of the street at the same time, and everybody punching their horns like crazy. About 4 cars down from where I'm standing, there's a taxi in the line. So, neat as you please, I goes down, opens the door and climbs in. The cabbie don't even see me. In his mirror, I can see his face is red as a beet. He's yelling and cussing and beating on his horn butt. Well, I pulls the door shut and makes myself comfy. Then, all of a sudden, we start moving. As we cut around the corner, I see how we've got our break. There's 2 cars locked bumpers in the other lane, pulling up the whole line. Now we're going straight cross town at a pretty good clip. At Amsterdam, we swing uptown up a big hill, and when we get to the top, I can see the crowd still racing around like mad. Way uptown, somewhere near 125th, we turn west, run down under the express highway, and end up in front of the beat-up old dock. There's hundreds of cars parked all over the place with their doors open and their engines running, and everybody's racing toward the river. My driver was out before the cab hardly stopped. It took me a little while to get out. Then I had to be real careful navigating that old wharf. It was full of holes and big cracks and piles of junk lying around. Slow going. I was pretty beat by the time I reached the mob near the end of the wharf. There was 2 long lines of it moving along slowly. Up ahead, they was all going up a big red ramp that went up into the air off the dock and into a great big thing that was hanging in the air over the river. The thing looked like a big banana made out of glass. When I got nearer, I could see right into the thing. Inside it, there was a lot of little stalls, and people was all crowding into them, about 4 or 5 to a stall. As soon as they got in, a kind of door dropped down, and I couldn't see no way that they could get out. But it didn't look like anybody was trying to get out. There was a big round table in each stall with a lot of food on it. And there, the people standing around just eating like pigs in a sty. All the time I was watching, people kept piling into that thing, looking like they was singing their heads off. Some was clapping their hands and throwing their arms around like they was doing some kind of dance. For about an hour, people kept marching up the ramp until finally the end of the line came and they all got in, excepting the last one, a real skinny old man with a cane. Just as he got up to the top of the ramp, the hole in the side of the banana closed up real quick as a wink. All of a sudden, the thing starts to go straight up into the air, leaving the old man standing at the edge of the ramp, waving his cane. Next thing, the old man goes over the edge and drops into the river. The banana-looking thing keeps going up into the air, going faster and faster, and shining like a mirror, smaller and smaller it gets, and then, pop, it's gone. Going back to the street, I was feeling sick. It was like everybody in the world was crazy except me. I felt lonesome. And all those cars parked every which way with the doors open and the motors running. It was real scary. Well, I got out of there as fast as I could go and took the subway home. And my wife wouldn't believe me when she seen all that dough. But it's the truth, and I figure the only reason they didn't get me, whoever they was, is because I'm stone deaf. I couldn't hear that guy's funny music. Now, do I get to keep the money, Your Honor? King of the Hill is located in the archives of Project Gutenberg. This ebook is for the use of anyone anywhere in the United States and most other parts of the world at no cost and with almost no restrictions whatsoever. You may copy it, give it away, or reuse it under the terms of the Project Gutenberg license included in this ebook or online at www.projectgutenberg.org. If you are not located in the United States, you will have to check the laws of your country where you are located before using this ebook. Sounds were sourced from Zepsplat.com and Audiio.com. Now that we're done with the legal jargon, I also have a podcast with the same audio content. However, episodes do tend to populate a little sooner than here on the Yowtubby. If you have a short fictional piece you'd like me to read, let me know in the comments or shoot me a DM on Insta. Right now my threshold is nothing more than 3,000 words, but if I like it, you never know. If you are in need of some voiceover work for a project or commercial, feel free to reach out through my website, joshuasandsvo.com. If I don't have the sound you're looking for, check out Bunny Studio. You can get there with my affiliate link in the description. I've been working with Bunny Studio on the pro side, and I can say for sure that every artist on the platform is top tier. Every project you make goes through rigorous quality control and comes with unlimited revisions. Try them out today. Thanks for watching. I'm sure you've been here for a while, so you know what to do.